Hi everyone, I was recently asked about parrot diets, so our video today is going to be strictly on what to feed your bird and enrichment. In no way am I trying to claim that this is the best thing to feed your bird, but I do believe that it's a much better alternative than to feed an all-seed diet. And what I feed Smokey is about 80% pellets and 20% is made up of fruits and vegetables and also some seeds. Now when I feed Smokey her pellets, I give them to her inside a foraging wheel. And in this foraging wheel, as you see here, she has to turn the wheel in order to get the pellets. For the more rewarding treats, she has to use other different foraging toys. Now this foraging toy that you see here in green, she has to twist and also push it up in the correct orientation in order to get the treat. She also has this treasure chest, which is a slightly more difficult foraging toy. In this treasure chest, she must pull on the key and spin them so that they face the correct orientation before the food is dispensed. Now in these videos, I shorten them down in real time. It would take her much longer to get the treat out of both of these foraging toys. Now, I want to share with you an idea that actually came to mind a couple days ago. Now, Smokey had a toy that she hasn't been touching for quite a while, and the toy is actually right here. And I wanted to make this toy a little bit more interesting for her. So what I decided to do was I took out my drill and I started drilling holes inside the toy. And at the end, the toy looked something like this. And as you can see, it has a lot of holes in it. I used drill bits that were slightly smaller than sunflower seeds, and you can actually use any kind of treats to stick in there. If you're using safflower seeds, I would use a slightly smaller drill bit. If you're using pistachio nuts, I would use a slightly larger one. But whichever drill bit you use, I prefer to use something that's a little bit smaller than the treat, so that when you stick the treat in, it'll be kind of hard and difficult for the bird to get them out. Hence, that's why the bird has to forage to really work to get their treats. Now, why in the world would we want our birds to work to get their food? Now, if you think about it, birds in the wild spend the majority of their time foraging or looking for food. You can actually take a chair outside and sit down and observe wild birds, and you'll see that the majority of their time is occupied looking for food. In captivity, however, many pet birds are given food inside a dish or a bowl. So what would take a bird in the wild hours to do is reduced down to several minutes in captivity. As a result, many birds resort to self-destructive behaviors. For example, normal vocalization soon becomes excessive screaming, and normal preening becomes feather plucking or self-mutilation. Now another benefit of using a foraging toy, such as the one that Smokey is using here, is that the bird has to chew on the wood sometimes in order to get the treat out. By doing this, the bird's actually able to keep his or her beak in trim so they don't get overgrown. What I eventually decided to do was I also found little hooks or chains on some of Smokey's toys. So what I did was I took her veggies and all I did was I kind of slid them through these hooks and these linked chains. And I think this is really important because it replicates how a bird would naturally shred and tear up vegetation in the wild. And this is also another really important part of enrichment. Finally, I want to mention that despite all that you see in this video, please keep in mind that nothing can be a substitute for the companionship and the socialization that the bird receives from you. Well, I hope this video gave you guys some ideas of how to create an enriching environment for your own bird.